What up, players? It's Warboss Tay up in this mug. Check out my Chimera that I built for my Vostroyan Firstborn. I've been doing it for the past couple of days, trying to shore up my techniques that I'm going to be using on my Imperial Guard Baneblade for Project Apocalypse in September, and I think it came out pretty well. So I used a series of techniques and tricks that I learned from the Imperial Armor Masterclass book from Forge World, and I thought I'd go through them with you. I did take my Sentinel as inspiration, as like a little test build for my Chimera. Now my Chimera is a test build itself for my Baneblade, so I'm really looking forward to it. Armor, first thing was I painted it up in a couple of stages. First I painted the whole thing in Mornfang Brown, after priming it of course, and then I dry brushed Steel Legion Drab and then Karak Stone over. And the dry brushing of Karak Stone over the Steel Legion Drab creates this really nice kind of ochre, like almost, it almost looks like a beige, brownish gray, which I really like. It looks very realistic. It doesn't look bright and cartoony and colorful like a lot of the Cadian ones seem to, in my opinion. So after that was done, I didn't even do any washes, just base coat, dry brush. Then I splattered on this battle damage and wear and tear. The way I did that was I used a sponge that you get from the little clamshell packs that Games Workshop used to do for their metal miniatures, and I broke off a little piece and then I mixed up a combination of, I think it was Abaddon Black and Dryad Bark, to create this dark brown, black weathering powder, chipped look. And then when you put it on the sponge and you wipe the sponge off and then you press it into the corners, it looks like natural wear and tear. So really happy with the way that came out. For the what looks like rain smearing on the rivets, I used an oil paint, which you can get from any arts and crafts store. Burnt sienna, and then I used this thinner painting medium. So it's got white spirit in it. It's like a thinner. You mix it up into the oil paint, and then it creates almost like this glaze that you kind of really lightly brush onto the rivets, and then pull it down while it's still a little bit wet to create this weathered, dried rain look. For the bottom I use weathering powders. So the way you do that is you spray the whole model first in a gloss coat or like a art coat finish. So just like a dull coat you could even use from Testers. It's basically a sealer. So I use Testers Spray Liqueur, and after I spray that onto the paint job first, and the liqueur makes it kind of shiny. So while that is dry, I brushed on some Forge World weathering powders. And the thing with the weathering powders is they will brush off if you do not seal them in with another spray. So I use for the final spray liqueur overcoat, but lusterless, flat, which kind of takes the shine off, and it just about did it really nicely. So I'm really happy with that. You've got a mixture of weathering powders on the bottom, oil paint mixed in with some thinner on the top, and then a weathered paint chipping effect using, like I said, Abaddon Black and Dryad Bark. Here's some detail in the back. I imagine this going through some urban city-like ruins, so I just painted a bunch of different grays, kind of stippled them on the top. If anything I want to add some of the new basing product from Games Workshop and just kind of stipple it like dried mud or turf. I think that would look really cool. For the front, okay, I tried for the first time. Oh, look at that, my poor heavy flamer. It's completely misaligned when I glued it. Okay, don't look at that. Look at the Dozer Blade. What I did was I sprayed it with the spray liqueur, so it kind of give it this shine. Oh yeah, I painted it in lead belcher. That's the first thing. You paint your Dozer Blade in lead belcher, so it's silver. And then I dry brushed mithril silver over it to give it a little bit more of a shine, and then to give it that really pop in the shine, I used the liqueur spray. So it sealed the color in so that I could use this technique. What you do is get some hairspray, which I thankfully, technically, have a lot of because I live in a house with lady. And you spray that over the Dozer Blade. Let that dry, then paint on. I use Steel Legion Drab and then Karak Stone over. And that creates a very nice looking color that matches the rest of your vehicle. But while the Karak Stone is still drying, what I did was I took a brush and a glass of warm water, or a cup of warm water, and I wet the brush with the warm water. And what that does is that activates the hairspray so that it will come off while you're using it. So it comes off in these random patterns, and it looks really, really cool. To finish it up, I used weathering powders on the bottom, like caked dirt and turf, and then I chipped the bottom and kind of the parts where it looked like the paint would chip the most, and then I just did a line of the oil paint to make it look like rainfall or water naturally had dried there. So let me know what you think. I'm really, really happy with my Vostroyan Chimera, and I think it will be a great basis for my Baneblade. So thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for commenting. Really, really glad always to read your comments and messages. Hope you're all having a great evening out there, and we'll see you in the next video. Laters, players!